Hello friends, I am Dr Irfana Samdani. Welcome to my channel, World of Economics. In this lecture, I'll take you second chapter in microeconomics or business economics. Now we'll discuss law of demand and supply. In my past lecture, we already discussed the chapter 1, Introduction to Economics, Basic Problem of Economy, Types of Economy, and chapter 2 will discuss theory of demand, meaning of demand, determinants of demand or factors affecting demand, law of demand. If you miss any lecture of mine, you can watch it on my YouTube channel, World of Economics, or you can follow my blog isamdani786.blogspot.com. In today's lecture contents are: we'll discuss the extension and contraction in demand, increase and decrease in demand, demand curve, movement across demand curve, shift in demand curve, and types of demand. We all know that whenever there is a change in price of any commodity, whether it increase or decrease, it will have affect the law or the quantity demand. Demand also changes. As all of us know that there is inverse relationship between the price and the quantity demanded. Change in quantity demanded, first is expansion and other is contraction. Likewise, change in demand is segregated to increase in demand and decrease in demand. Let's discuss the change in quantity demand. At first, in this we take expansion. Expansion is nothing but increase in quantity demanded. Higher quantity will be demanded at the lower price. Let's see into the graph. This is the normal demand graph. This much quantity is demanded at this price. Let's say the price falls from P to P1. The quantity demanded now increases to Q2, Q1. We can see that quantity demanded increase with the fall in the price. The price has fallen, the quantity demanded increased. This movement along the curve is expansion of quantity demanded. Whenever there is change in quantity demanded, not due to other factors but only due to price, is called a change in quantity demanded. And when quantity demanded increases because of fall in price, we called it expansion. Now let us discuss what is contraction. Again, let's assume this is a normal demand curve. This the quantity demanded and this is the price. Now what happens as the price increases? The quantity demanded will shrink. When price goes up, lesser number of that commodity is demanded. Lesser number of unit of that commodity is demanded. So what happens is quantity demanded falls with an increase in the price and pretends to move along the curve in the upward direction. When we move in the upward direction, we call it contraction. Contraction is quantity demanded because the quantity of that commodity is demanded in lesser amount. Now let's discuss what's increase in demand. Increase in demand means where there is a change in demand where the quantity demanded of that commodity has changed due to price but due to other factors. Let's say change in income level. As we know that income will affect the quantity demand. As income level rises, demand changes. As income level falls, demand changes. That it is goes down. Likewise, when the price of substitute goods goes up, demand also goes up, and the price of substitute goods goes down, demand also goes down. Again, when the price of complementary goods goes up, the demand falls, and when the price of complementary goods falls down, demand increases. So there is a relationship between demand and income level, or the price of substitute goods and complementary goods. Now, because of this reason, the demand curve is not able to move along the curve. It all together shifts. Let's see how. Again, this is the normal demand curve. The quantity demanded is Q in the market, and this is the price P at which quantity is demanded. Now, demand changes because of other factors, not because of price. So here we keep the price constant. Let's say demand increases from Q to Q1. Now, please note there is no change in price even though the quantity demanded has increased. This will shift the demand curve from DD to D1 D1. We cannot go along the same curve. This process is outward precession of the curve, and when the curve shifts outward or rightward, then we call it increase in demand. This is increase in demand. Please note, quantity demand has changed because of other factors. Let's say the income has increased or the price of substitute goods has gone up. This leads to an increase in demand. Likewise, let's draw an x-axis and y-axis. This is the normal demand curve. This is the quantity demanded at this price. Now, what happened? In many times, income level of people falls. Let's say we are going through recession period. What happened during recession time? The income level of people comes down. Along with the income level of people, as long as the income level of people comes down, the consumption pattern of the people also shrinks or change. They tend to consume lesser number of goods or commodities. So their assumption, the consumption falls from Q to Q2, but price remain the same. The price again remain the same because the change has been brought about by the change in income level, not because of price. This leads to an inward projection of the curve because no more on the same equilibrium point, or the new equilibrium point will be on the curve DD but inside the curve, and this leads to form a new curve D1 D1. Here we can see that the curve had moved in that is the inward movement. In the curve there is an inward movement in the curve, or we can say that the curve has shifted leftward or to the left side or towards the origin. This is because reduction of commodity consumed or purchased or demanded is called decrease in demand. Again, please note down expansion and contraction are due to change in price where other goods remain constant. Expansion is because of fall in price. Contraction is because of rise in price. However, increase and decrease are not related to price but are related to other factors that demand changes because of change. Let's discuss the type of demand. In this, we have price demand, income demand, cross demand, indirect or drive demand, direct demand, joint demand, composite demand. We know that the demand of X is depend on the price of X goods, price of related goods, and income of the consumer, taste and preferences of the consumer. The taste and preferences of the consumer cannot be measured in quantitatively. So if we exclude this and we discuss the other determinants of demand, that is price of commodity X, price of related goods, and income of the consumer. We have three types of demand. It is related to this three determinants, that is price demand, cross demand, income of the consumer. Cross demand, which is price demand, cross demand, which is related to price of the related goods, and income demand to the related with the income of the consumer. Price tells you the relationship between price of the commodity X and demand of the commodity X. Other things are kept constant. What are the other things? We talk here, that is income of the consumer, taste and preference of the consumer, and price of related goods. Similarly, we talk of income demand, that quantity demand of a commodity in relation to the income of the consumer, that is other things being equal, it shows the relationship between the income of the consumer and the demand of the commodity. If it shows how demand changes as the income of the consumer change, and other things here means price of X goods, price of related goods, and taste and preference of the consumer remain constant. Other things remain constant in cross demand. Quantity demand is the function of related goods. When the demand of and the related goods change with the change in the price of commodity, this case will be cross demand. We are talking of the demand of commodity Y, which can be a substitute or complementary for commodity X. Assume that demand for commodity Y, demand for related good, that is Y, is related to the price of commodity X. What are the other things which are kept here constant? Are income of the consumer, taste and preference of the consumer, and price of commodity Y. Price of commodity Y is kept constant here because we are talking about the demand of commodity Y. Let us move to another type of demand. Direct and indirect demand is based on the dependency on other products. First, we will discuss direct demand. The demand for the product is not associated with the demand of other product. That is, the demand for commodity is said to be direct when it satisfies your want directly. It does not depend on demand of other goods. For example, when you talk of food, it will satisfy your wants, hunger directly. When you demand food, so it is directly satisfying your want. Direct demand satisfies your want directly, and they do not depend on the demand of the other goods. Now, when we talk about the indirect demand or the drive demand, what means this depends on what it means. It depends on demand of other product or parent product. You demand it. This product not for its own sake, but for the sake of the product that you want. For example, labor. When you demand labor, you demand to produce certain commodities. Say that commodities is shoe. So when you demand labor, it is drive demand, because you demand labor because you want shoes. So all the factors of production, that is land, raw material, labor and capital, all these are drive demand. Why? Because you demand this in order to produce some other goods. Let's discuss composite demand. When a commodity put to several uses, it is said to possess the composite demand. For example, demand for steel is a composite demand because steel can be used for manufacturing machines, can be used as a tool, can be used in car. So this commodity steel can be put to several uses. Therefore, it is said to have composite demand. Next comes joint demand. When the demand for one commodity itself means the demand for the other commodity. For example, first is finished product like bread. There are many things. Service of flour, milk, oven, fuel. So we need all these things in order to make bread. So the demand of bread means demand for other commodities. Therefore, it is demand. This is called joint demand. Hope you understand the law of demand, expansion and contraction of demand, increase and decrease in demand, types of demand. Next lecture, we'll discuss elasticity of demand and types of elasticity of demand. If you have any confusion, doubt, you can comment below or contact me on my WhatsApp number 6303481790 or on my email isamdani786@gmail.com. If you are unable to find my video, you can watch my video on my blog isamdani786.blogspot.com. Next video will discuss elasticity of demand. Thanks for watching my video.